It was a busy offseason in the transfer portal as we saw many big-name quarterbacks transfer schools. There are some that find themselves as Heisman candidates in 2020 and some that hope to lead their team to their conference championship. There was a lot to go through, but here are my 10 best quarterback transfers from this offseason. These are overall just players who I think are the better quarterbacks, but also players who I think are going to have the biggest impact on their team moving forward. Before we get to the list, make sure to click that subscribe button if you're brand new to the channel. Don't forget to turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Diera King was arguably the biggest transfer this offseason. It was a unique situation for King, who announced in September last year after the Cougars' fourth game that he would redshirt the remainder of the 2019 season and return in 2020. Many expected him to return to Houston, but he then shocked the college football world when he announced he'd enter the transfer portal, becoming the hottest name on the market. Ultimately, he chose Miami. In his Houston career, King accounted for more than 7,000 yards across multiple positions, including nearly 5,000 yards passing. His best season came in 2018, his first where he was primarily the quarterback, when he accounted for 50 touchdowns, which was the third best in the FBS that year. His 82 career touchdowns responsible for since 2016 is the 9th most among active FBS quarterbacks. Miami had one of the worst offenses in the ACC last year. With King at the helm, Miami very well could have one of the best offenses in the ACC now. Just 2 days after 2019 starter Jake Fromm declared for the NFL draft, the school added Wake Forest graduate transfer Jamie Newman. He started 12 games for the Demon Deacons last season, completing nearly 61% of his pass attempts for 2,900 yards and 26 touchdowns. He also ran for 600 yards and had 6 rushing touchdowns as well. He ranked second in the ACC in total offense, averaging 287 yards per game, and finished 5th in the ACC, averaging 253 passing yards per game. He had offers from Maryland, Miami, Oregon, and Washington, but ultimately he decided on Georgia. Staying on Georgia, they had not one but 2 notable quarterback transfers this offseason. This was the most recent one, as JT Daniels announced his transfer to Georgia from USC. At this time, it's unknown whether or not Daniels will be eligible in 2020, but for him in Georgia, they'll be just fine if he isn't. I think this is more of a move for 2021 after Jamie Newman leaves. Daniels is in prime position to be the starting quarterback for the Bulldogs next year and for years to follow. The former 5-star quarterback threw 2,700 yards and had 14 passing touchdowns as a true freshman for USC in 2018. He appeared in one game last year, throwing 215 yards and a touchdown before an injury cost him his season. This is my biggest question mark when it comes to quarterback transfers. With Mike Leach as the new head coach, there's a good chance KJ Costello lights it up and throws for over 4,000 yards for Mississippi State. Costello appeared in only 5 games last season for Stanford, throwing just over 1,000 yards with 6 touchdowns. His best season came in 2018 when he threw for over 3,500 yards with 29 touchdowns, all while completing 65% of his passes. We've seen Costello put up great numbers before, so there's no doubt that he can replicate that and improve under Mike Leach. There's going to be a starting quarterback battle in Eugene next year, so there's a chance Anthony Brown might not even win the job. Nonetheless, the Ducks still got a great transfer from Boston College. Brown has had 2 seasons end prematurely because of injury, but he is expected to be healthy for the start of the 2020 year. Last year in 6 games, Brown threw for 1,300 yards with 9 touchdowns, while adding 130 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. In his 3 seasons as the quarterback for Boston College, Brown has thrown for just under 5,000 yards with 40 passing touchdowns. Things didn't go as planned for Felipe Franks at Florida, but he can change the narrative of his career with a fresh start at Arkansas. The Razorbacks have been disappointing over the years, and maybe Franks is the quarterback that can get them back to their winning ways. Franks showed the potential he had in 2018, throwing for 2,500 yards with 24 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. Last year, before a season-ending injury, Franks was completing 76% of his passes while throwing for 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. After being the backup at Clemson for 2 years, Chase Brice finally gets his opportunity to show what he can do as a starter. He heads to Duke, where they've seen recent NFL success from their quarterbacks. During his time with the Tigers, Brice completed 60% of his passes for 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. Here's what he had to say about transferring to Duke. I think it's a very quarterback-centric and quarterback-friendly offense. It's like a car. They hand you the keys and put a great plan together, and it is your job to go execute and make the right plays. They put a lot on you, and you can switch to the right play if you don't see the current play working out. Though he's one of the greatest quarterbacks in Indiana's history, Peyton Ramsey will take his talents to Northwestern for his final season of eligibility. Ramsey has totaled nearly 7,000 passing yards, the 4th most in program history. He also ranks 4th among team leaders in career offense with 7,400 yards. He's got dual threat skills and has far exceeded what might have been expected from his 3-star rating coming out of high school. An injury led to him losing his starting job in 2019, so the Wildcats will be getting a proven quarterback determined to give it all during his final season. Another quarterback who left his program as one of the top passers in team history, Jake Bentley, leaves South Carolina and heads to Utah. Jake Bentley ranks top 5 in South Carolina history in regards to passing yards, touchdowns, completions, and completion percentage. However, he's going to finish his career as a Ute. Bentley's best season came in 2018 when he threw for 3,200 yards with 27 passing touchdowns. Utah has one of the better defenses in the country on a year-to-year basis, so if Bentley can take the offense to the next level, Utah has a chance to not only compete for the Pac-12, but potentially for a playoff spot. With a deep quarterback room in Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa, the younger brother of Tua Tagovailoa, recently announced he'll be transferring to Maryland. Tagovailoa played in 5 games last season for the Tide, completing 9 of 12 passes for 100 yards and a touchdown. Because he competed in 5 games, he did not preserve his red shirt and has 3 years of eligibility remaining. Tagovailoa will need to seek a waiver in order to play in 2020. As of this video, it's still unclear whether or not he's going to be the quarterback for Maryland this upcoming year. They still have former Virginia Tech quarterback Josh Jackson, who did play in 10 games last season for Maryland. Now, the Terps did not land a quarterback in the 2020 class, and it has yet to gain a commitment from a quarterback in the 2021 cycle, so adding Tagovailoa will give them depth and competition at the position for the future. Last season, Maryland quarterbacks combined to have a 32.9 QBR, the second worst among Power 5 teams. So, picking up this transfer from Alabama was a huge move for them. Well, that's my list for the 10 transfer quarterbacks I feel are going to make the biggest impact at their new schools. Again, some of them might not be the starter this upcoming year, but they'll be there in the future. What transfers are you most excited to see? And which transfers that I not include that you think should have made the list? Drop a comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Because as I mentioned, if you love college football content, this is definitely the channel for you. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys all very soon.